everybody, and welcome back to the United Stand. Manchester United win their first game of the pre-season tour against Leeds. They won it 2-0. Goals from Emran and Hugo, assists from Isaac Hansen-Aaron, and also from...
Football fanatics, get ready. The United Stand pre-season tour is here, powered by OneFootball, the ultimate app for live scores, transfers, and match stats. Download now. No one gets you closer.
Emran again himself, a goal and assist. We've actually just interviewed him on the United Stand if you want to check that out. A really good interview. He's hungry for more minutes and very interesting game. Obviously, we got to see some first teamers in there. We saw the likes of Lisandro Martinez, we saw the likes of Rafael Varane, also the debut for Mason Mount. It is in the pre-season game, but we still got to see Mason Mount's first minutes as a Red. And I know what people are like. People can overly criticise a pre-season game for 45 minutes. They can also overhype it. I have overhyped it a little bit, and I'm going to continue to do that because I want to get excited about the team. There's obviously areas that need to improve, but there's also some really good areas there. You can see more of the way Erik ten Hag wants to play. You can see Heaton completely off his line up the pitch. You can see the forward players pressing and winning the ball back high up the pitch. You can see Mason Mount contributing to that, and you can also see little gaps in the team where there needs to be improvements. But I think the main thing that we can take away from this game is how good the youth were when they played that last 45 minutes. Obviously, this Leeds side aren't the greatest side in the world, but it's still tough to ask these players to come on the pitch, that 11, for 45 minutes and put together the performance that they did. I thought Emran just looked like he wanted to go out there and play football, and did he do that? The assist from Hansen-Aaron was brilliant, the way he slid it into him, and his finish was brilliant as well. Also, the assist for the goal against Hugo was great, so it's really nice to see the youth players out there enjoying their football and staking a claim to get into Erik ten Hag's team. That's the way you want it to be at Manchester United, because you look at Erik ten Hag, we've seen what he said. He said that to get into this Man United team as a youth player, you've got to be exceptional. You've got to be knocking on the door. You don't just get in because you're from the academy. You get in because you're good enough, because you're challenging. Garnacho's broke that mould, so Ten Hag's proved to these players it is possible to happen, but they've got to play well in pre-season to do that, and a lot of them out there looked like they wanted to. Let's talk about the first 45 minutes, starting off. You've got Kobbie Mainoo in the midfield. We spoke to Darren Fletcher on the plane, and he was saying how good he thinks Kobbie can be. Kobbie Mainoo's been someone last season who everyone was looking at and thinking he should get more minutes. The United Stand have watched him in the under-23s and thought, you know what, there's a serious player on our hands here. And today he just looks unfazed, he looks cool. He really, really well timed his challenges, and also on the ball, just really exceptional in the way he takes them first touches and sees the game in front of him. I do think this season, it depends how he does through the pre-season, that's how important it is. But I think this season with Kobbie Mainoo, what he needs to do in the pre-season is keep playing like that and prove to Erik ten Hag, I can't go out on loan, I need some minutes this year. I think he's a player that could avoid the loan, because there's some players that need to go out on loan and need to play. You've seen Ahmad do that and he looks sharp. But there's some players like the Garnachos that are good enough to come in and start playing now. I think Kobbie Mainoo could potentially be on that level. Also, a few surprises from me. I was surprised at how good Hannibal was. Hannibal, really aggressive into the challenge. He loves the yellow card. He got a yellow card in a pre-season game. But I really liked him. He was hungry, quick on the ball. You know, fitness levels are up there. Really enjoyed his performance. Amad Diallo, was he a little bit wasteful at times? Yes. But was he great on the ball? Was he trying to do stuff? Was he linking up with Wan-Bissaka well? Absolutely. And I thought, you know, if you look at the likes of what platform Jadon Sancho should be on compared to Amad Diallo, for me personally, I know it's only one game, but Amad Diallo looked like he had more about him. I know Jadon Sancho was playing a different sort of role. He's playing that false nine, which we might see until we sign a striker actually in pre-season, because we're going to have to alternate it up. But Jadon Sancho, for me, just blending a little bit in with the youth players, which you don't want to see, because he's such a good talent and he should be nailed on. He should be, for the price he cost and for what he was, a nailed on first teamer. So this pre-season is going to be one for him as well, where he's got to prove to Erik ten Hag, you know, why I should be starting games. And to be honest with you, when you've got players putting in them levels of performances, Erik ten Hag's going to question, you know, Amad Diallo's putting a really good performance then. Should he be ahead of him in the pecking order? That's a question I ask you guys as well. Lisandro Martinez and Varane back together. Super excited about that. Also, what I found very interesting, Alvaro Fernandez ahead of Brandon Williams at left back in the first 45 minutes, because that was the strongest team. That to me signals Brandon Williams is there to be exited, and he's only, for me, Ten Hag's only putting his time into players that look like they're going to get the minutes, that look like they're going to be part of his first team, and I really, really, really do appreciate that from Erik ten Hag. Alvaro Fernandez, again, he looks, you know, he's one of them players that it's a chance for him to develop. It really is. But let's get on to the signing, and the signing is Mason Mount. Brilliant. also, it's sometimes, you know, a little bit where you thought, oh, could that have been better? Could that have been better? But what I gathered from Mason Mount, which is why I wanted to sign him for so long, everyone, and everyone was saying, Beth, we shouldn't be signing Mason Mount. I know it's only pre-season, so don't tell me I'm overhyping anyone. I get that. He's got to prove it in the big games. But what I like from Mason Mount, and these are things that you can tell in any sort of performance, the energy, the work rate, the mentality. He was everywhere, all over the pitch. He was pressing high up the pitch. He was winning balls back up the pitch and then, you know, progressing it on. That chip, maybe you could have took it on and maybe, you know, finished it. But I like the fact he had the confidence to try that chip in the pre-season. I really like that sort of confidence from him. He was linking up with Kobe Mainoo well. That through ball he put through, I think it was to Amad Diallo. Everyone knows which one I'm on about if you watch the game. That was brilliant, and that's exactly what we need. And to be honest, at certain points in the game, I started to think to myself, Mason Mount, I think he is going to play the 8, and I definitely think he's a nailed-on first teamer, by the way. Everyone's debating whether Eriksen or Mount plays. Mount is a nailed-on first teamer, in my opinion. Erik ten Hag, you can just tell how highly he rates him. Mount, I think there could be times when, you know, Bruno could even maybe play the 8 role, and Mason Mount might play the 10 role, because you look at both them players, Mason Mount was pushing high up the pitch at times, he was really good on the press, or maybe because we know at Ajax that Erik ten Hag liked to play that deep lying playmaker in the likes of, let's just call it our Casemiro, that deep line midfielder, and they had 2 8s pushing really high up the pitch. Maybe Ten Hag, now he's going to get a Nana in who can push high up as well, and he's got a defence that's comfortable on the ball, in most aspects. There obviously is still some improvements to be made. Maybe he's going to push his team up and press completely from the front. You can have both Bruno and Mount pressing for that ball back. If that happens, cover is going to be desperately needed from the full-backs, and obviously Casemiro is going to have a job on his hands, and there can be gaps left open, but I do think that's the way. Erik ten Hag is obviously looking to follow up on the back of last season with a really high pressing game, and you'll see that as well from the pre-season games. What I liked about it is you could see in the second half, obviously there was things that were different, but you could see the same sort of style, and that's what Erik ten Hag's doing in training with these guys. And for the youth team players that are pushing and knocking on the door to come through, it's so important that they get these minutes to stand out. I mean, playing in front of the crowd here on a pre-season game and playing in front of these United fans, it's so valuable for them. And for the likes of Emran, who we spoke to get that goal, to get that assist, to put confidence in you, to go on and do more this pre-season, you know, you never know what these things can lead to. For some players, yeah, it will end up leading to some loan spells and maybe they'll go and move on elsewhere. But for other players, they could really stake their claim to being the first team. And I think the two people that really did stand out to me was Amad Diallo. I think he needs to be coming in, and I think he needs to continue on the back of this performance and continue to thrive under that environment. And I also think Kobe Mainoo as well. I think they're two players that, you know, before any of the first teamers are back, they really need to grab this opportunity by the scruff of the necks and really kind of push on. And you can see players doing that, and you can see that Ten Hag's kind of infused that into these players. Another quick thing I wanted to speak about was Fred. Apparently he was out because of they were managing his workload, even though Fred hasn't played in 6 weeks, which I found a little bit, you know, I didn't believe that excuse. It might be right, but I didn't believe it. But what I did think is, you know what, Erik ten Hag isn't compromising the minutes of any youth player or any player that has potential to be part of this team for someone who's going to leave. Because Fred's probably he's probably close to agreeing to transfer somewhere. We've heard the news. So I like that from Erik ten Hag. Again, you know, if you're not part of United, if you're not part of the future plan, why are you playing? Like, you shouldn't be playing. So maybe that's the way around it. And I love Fred, and he's had some good times at United, but it's true, we should be trusting the minutes into people that actually do have a future at Man United and are going to help Man United in the future. But ultimately, I really enjoyed the game. Is it the first game of pre-season where, you know, yeah, we were against Leeds, who aren't the best side in the world, and yeah, it wasn't the most important game, but we've not had football in so long. It's really nice to kind of grasp that opportunity and kind of watch these players and have that chance. Because, you know, should Sancho have scored that goal and did he let it fall behind him? Yes. Should Amad have, some of his shots been better? Should Mount have finished a few? So were some of Mount's set pieces, you know, they weren't at the highest level, yeah, but you're at pre-season, you're just warming up, you kind of get into the groove of things, and we're actually starting to watch club football as well. And for me, the most important part of pre-season, the thing I get most excited about, is to see how Erik ten Hag wants to play. He clearly, like Tom Heaton, I don't even think he was ever in his box. Completely off his line, pushing up the pitch. Players pressing from the front is exactly what you want to see. And players really trying their best to get the opportunity in the first team. But I'm going to give my man of the match. Who am I going to give the man of the match to? I'm going to give man of the match to Emran. Not just because he came on and did an interview for us, which I was really nice to see him. He said he'd come and speak to us again, so hopefully he does do that. Not only because he did that, but because he took the game by the scruff of his neck, scored that goal, got an assist, and he just looked like he wanted to go out there and prove why he should play football. But player of the first half, probably go with Kobe Mainu. Amad Diallo was good, Mason Mount was good, but this is the thing you want to see battling it out for that kind of man of the match status. Was it a really high level performance? No, but it was nice to see the way Erik ten Hag's going with his team. But look, everyone, hopefully you enjoyed the first game of the pre-season. I've loved being here in Oslo. This stadium is lovely. The people are super nice. The weather hasn't been great, and but it's been a great day. As you can see, I'm still in the clothes as I was in literally this morning. We've had a great day here, and I'm excited for the rest of the pre-season tour. Make sure you let me know in the comments who is going to stand out on this pre-season tour. Who are you most excited to maybe be welcomed into the first team? What are your thoughts on the first game of pre-season? Thank you everyone for following our journey in Oslo. Make sure you hit a like on the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you on the next one.